All right, so we're going to go ahead and talk about some motivation. We're going to talk about some meditation. We're going to talk about some inspiration. If it's not one of the three, I don't want it. And so, how are you utilizing your mentality today? What are the things that you're going through? What are the things that you're facing off against? And how can we start to focus from within out? And that's the name of this message today. How can we, from within who we are, vibrate mentality outwards? How can we start to put ourselves in that kind of a place where we are asking those types of questions, like, is what I'm doing today, is it motivation, is it meditation, is it inspiration? And so how can we allow ourselves to start to eliminate the things that are bringing us closer to who we are? And we look at this vibration, we look at these things that we're going through and that we are, and we seek to be that person. We truly inside seek to believe in ourselves and to believe in our abilities. But what is it that stops us? What is it that holds you back or limits you? What is it that when you're working on your challenges, when you're sitting there inside of yourself, and when you're having things going on around you, how do you start to focus? What kind of tools do you use today? And so here we are in front of the recorder again, and we're working on these abilities. We're starting to get down to the mystery questions. We're starting to sit down to start to hear the vibration and to start to utilize what we have inside. And so, are we doing that with our time today? Are we becoming time managers? Are we becoming people who understand the value of our mentality, who understand the abilities inside of ourselves, inside of our beings, that we are able to utilize that as a purpose, that we're able to utilize that person who matters inside of you? And so today I want to ask you, are you from within who you are? Are you vibrating outwards in your community? Are you vibrating outwards from within who you are? Are you able to spend the time, spend the mentality inside of yourself, utilizing what you have? And so I'd like to share with you today a couple key skills that I found that work for me, that they might be able to help you. They might be able to give you the ability to be that motivation to the people that are around you. So what are those skills? What are they that you're lacking in your professions? What is it that you're lacking in your homes? Are you spending the time every day, possibly doing the things that you love to do, the things that bring you closer to yourself, that are bringing you up? And it's not going to happen today. It happens on the minute you decide to make the mentality a priority. It happens when you have that ability inside of yourself to believe in you. Okay, and it's when we start to realize that it's not going to happen that you're going to be the top in your profession unless you put the work in. And so, are we all seeing that? Can we acknowledge that? Can we start to put ourselves in that kind of a place? You might be the analyst in New York taking the trolley or the metro system to go to work today, hearing this message. Or you might be the one at home who is the homemaker. And this message is really for the both of you. This message is for the one who is trying to pick themselves up, the one who's trying to be creative, the one who's trying to be the best in their professions, even when other people might be kicking their butts. So how do we start to do that? What are some of the skills? If you could yet but brainstorm with me, if you could yet but spend a minute, spend a week, spend a year focusing on yourself, what would you do? What would you do with that time? How would you spend that time? Would you give yourself time to study? Would you give yourself time to do the things that you want to do. And so what would those things be? What would those things be, and how would you utilize them? You know, if we gave you $1 million tomorrow, what would you do with it? See, one day you might have everything, and one day you might not have everything. But what makes the difference between the person who has everything and the person who has nothing is in their mentality. It's in their ability to focus. Because we find people that have a lot still have nothing inside. And we find people that have nothing that have a lot. So what makes you different? What drives you to be who you are? What is it that will bring you closer to yourself? And so if you could spend a minute with me focusing on that and getting down to that part inside of yourselves where you believe in you, where you believe in your ability, then might I share a story with you, that you are worth it, that no matter the challenges, the things that you've been through, the things that you're going through, that you can overcome it. But you've got to put yourself in a place where you have the ability. You've got to put yourself in a place where you can use the gifts, the talents, the skills, the things that you have inside of yourself. And so are we doing that today? Are we getting down with that part of who we are? Are we focusing to utilize the gifts that we have inside? And so how are we using those skills, my friends? Are we with who we are? Are we able to become best friends with our subconscious? Are we able to make it through our challenges? Are we able to believe in ourselves and believe that you're worth it? Because you are worth it. You're worth every single day. You're worth every single minute. You're worth every single piece of value inside of yourself, inside of your being, inside of your journey. Are we embracing that today? Are we putting ourselves in that kind of a place where we're using the skills that we have? You see, one of those skills is giving yourself the ability to record, to recall your experiences. You see, when we recall our experiences, we have the ability to work on our experiences. When we have the ability to work on our experiences, things become a lot lighter. But as you know, when we stop ourselves from that process, when we hold ourselves back from that ability, then what we're stopping is ourselves. And so, how do we focus to that level? How do we utilize what we have inside? How do we utilize the ability inside of who we are? And are we focusing to overcome those kinds of challenges today, my friends? Are we sitting inside of ourselves, becoming the student in our lives? You know, a lot of people want that on autopilot till they pick up a pen and paper or they pick up a schedule for themselves. You know, a lot of businesses, they have a schedule. And the reason they have a schedule is because they operate in a certain way. Are you operating your business in that certain way inside of yourselves? Are you giving yourself that ability? Are you getting down with that part of your mentality? Are you focusing to that place where what you have going on is worth it? Because you are worth it. And so, can I plead a case with you to study? Can I plead a case with you to sit down and to write things down, to believe in yourself, to believe in your abilities, to believe in your mentality that you're worth it? And let's go ahead and talk a little bit about utilizing mental clarity. When you start to remember things because you're using the skills that you have, the opportunities start to open up. The mentality starts to become clear. The person inside of who we are starts to become a light. And so let me go ahead and talk about how that part of your knowledge can be used as an inspiration. Okay? when you're using your focus and your knowledge inside of who you are, other people's worlds change. It uplifts other people to see you're able to do it with the things that you have. And so, as I close, I just want to leave you with that kind of inspiration that if you can focus to the point where you open that knowledge inside of yourself, that you can become disciplined. And as other people see that, the opportunities become available. As I close, I just want to say blessings to you all. As always, namaste.